So it's a personal challenge for yourself, but also you talked about the other people's pain. How can you alleviate other people's pain by running across the country? What's your plan on how to help people change? It sounds like it's about maybe changing their diet, and that can help alleviate depression and a lot of sadness in them and maybe their self-image.
Yeah, totally. I think by being an example, right? Like when I decided to go plant-based and had friends and family around me who, didn't prescribe to that, their first thing was like, oh, but you can't do that and also run like you run. And it was like, I just want to be one more example. We have so many great examples of athletes that are able to take on this plant-based diet, and not only is it like that they can maintain their performance, but it actually gets better. So like providing that example being one of the main reasons for doing it, and something as monumental as running across the country, I mean, there's no denying it. If I can show along the way what I'm consuming, how we're preparing my food, well, I hope I never have to hear that excuse again of, well, I need meat or dairy because it's good for me and it's for a performance reason, and that's just such a fallacy. It's just
You'll certainly be slaying that myth for sure, and also the one about traveling. It's too hard to do when I travel.
Oh, yeah. So well, something very interesting and that I'm using as a source of inspiration through this is my crew chief, Jackie. It's my partner Shelly's sister. Her and her husband Jamie, they just completed the Appalachian Trail on a plant-based diet about 3 months ago. Mm-hmm. So they even took it a step further, and I feel so privileged and honored to have her knowledge going into this. But they carried all their food in a backpack and managed to cross the country going south and north to south with on their back. So me having an RV or a camper pulled by a van with a kitchen in it, it's almost even a step easier than they did. That one, it's too hard to travel and be plant-based. I mean, I have a couple of doors we can knock on about that.
So what's the nutrition plan?
Yes,
when are you eating? Yeah. How much are you eating? What is it?
What are you eating?
Right.
Yeah.
Is it mostly carbohydrate based, I would imagine? And you have the percentages set out? Like, very interested in that.
Yeah, high fat and carbohydrate plant-based diet. So kind of starting off the morning with oats. Again, there's going to be a lot of coconut milk involved. That really is a place to get a lot of this highly caloric fats from. I'll start off the morning again, with oatmeal, kind of hit the road, oatmeal and coffee, follow up within an hour or so with a highly, highly caloric smoothie. That smoothie, again, having a lot of coconut milk. We're going to be utilizing soy lint, which is a meal replacer.
Sure.
It's just because I need to consume, kind of backing up a little bit, I need to consume starting off about 6,000 calories a day. And as this ramps up, we'll get to about 10,000 calories once my body really gets going and my metabolism is in full effect. So, we got those 2 meals, and then I stop in the middle of the day, have a large baguette sandwich with tofu, hummus, some vegetables, massive sandwich. And then throughout the day, we're peppering this in with more like Scratch being like a good
electrolytes.
Electrolytes, yeah.
Scratch Labs, right?
Yes.
Like
exactly,
Alan, yeah. Oh, that stuff's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, so we're using that and their chews, which will just, keep me from bonking, keeping my sugar levels up. Again, that baguette for lunch, and then continuing that through the evening, and then at night, we're working through right now. There's going to be some meals that'll be just a lot of pasta with olive oil, some vegetables, and then some of the camper freeze-dried foods. I'm still working with some brands on getting some of those together, and we'll be cooking those in with coconut milk. And then, just kicking back in the evening, having some NadaMoo dairy-free ice cream, one of my sponsors.
Nice.
And just repeating. And then as this progresses, we'll just kind of up the quantity of the smoothies. There's going to be a couple of those through the day, and that's where we'll start filling in those extra calories.
Why do you have to add calories as your trip goes on? What changes in your body? Just on a metabolic level, I think it just starts to burn more. I think once I deplete all of my small fat reserves I have right now, there's just nothing left to burn that's already there. Mm-hmm. So we have to provide it every day. Yeah, and then reparation too. You have to repair a lot of stuff, so that
no doubt
totally makes sense.
When are you sleeping?
Yeah, I hope.
How much?
Yeah, so,
how long is it going to take you to do the 40 to 47? How many miles a day is it that you're doing?
So yeah, it will average, around 43 is the number, but that will vary. With every section, we have kind of, due to whether it be logistics for the van and camper setup for that to have somewhere safe to park, or it be just elevation change. There's some days that will be down around a marathon distance, 26 miles, up to about 58 miles. It's going to be some of my longer days. So in there, the plan is I'm going to wake up around 5 a.m., feet on the ground by 6, run the first 20 miles, and then take a little bit of a break to have some time to eat, maybe a 30-minute nap, and then finish up in the evening, back in bed by 8 p.m. at the latest, is the hope. The good thing about this and what makes it manageable for me is that break in the middle of the day. Like, my running, even a year ago when I decided to do this, like running 20 miles felt very manageable. So when I started thinking about this goal, it was like, okay, well, if I can do that in the morning, take a break in the afternoon and do it again in the evening, it became very feasible for me.
It's smart to do it that way.
I know that you love food, and as you go across the country, there might be wonderful places to eat. Will you Happy Cow, for those listeners who don't know Happy Cow is an app where you can find, get it. It's an app where you can find vegan or vegetarian restaurants, supermarkets, etc. You going to be eating anywhere, and when are you interfacing with folks?
So as far as eating, there's nothing in the plan, but I'm sure it will happen. Again, I do love food. I love exploring new restaurants, and that's been a huge part of this change over to a plant-based diet too, is it just opened up a new world and provided some focus to the restaurants for which I like to dine at, ones that are, at least vegan friendly, if not just completely vegan restaurants. So there's nothing in the plans, but I'm sure we're going to be looking and finding places just to, change things up and shake it up as we go along, for sure.
I want to see if you could help bust a myth for me.
Yes.
You've mentioned a couple of times that, you were a foodie, you are a foodie, but you were really into hot cuisine before you went plant-based. So I was the opposite. I was not, and I turned into a foodie as a plant-based eater because it just became so fun and so interesting to me. But I oftentimes, as we all do that are vegan or plant-based, people will say, oh, I could never do that because I'm such a foodie. What do you say to them?
Well, one, that thing of I like to eat. Well, the great thing about being vegan is you get to eat so much more.
Nice point.
Just the quantities of food I can eat, it's so much fun. And it's really interesting to take this thing of food. And I just think it's really sad we live in a society where so many times when we eat, it's a negative thing. It's something that's damaging our bodies. And changing to this plant-based diet, it's the exact opposite. Every time I eat, I look at my food, and I know this is going to nourish me, and this is going to make me better. It's going to make me a better person for choosing these foods that are ethically sourced and don't, nothing's suffering from it. And then on top of it, it's nutrient rich, and that part of it is huge. I'm a really big fan of that. And now there are just so many options. There's so many establishments and brands of food that are coming out that are of such high quality. And the more and more the years go by, I'm finding that even my personal chef friends, people come into their restaurants and they say they're vegan, and it's no longer not a problem. It's it provides an opportunity for them to really prove what they're capable of. And I think that that's something we're going to see more and more of. And the more and more people that will decide to make this choice to a plant-based diet, the more that restaurants and, grocery store foods are going to come in line with that. And so, I find it to be quite empowering and quite interesting to be a part of.
It's not broccoli dipped in lemon juice anymore.
No, it's not at all.
So much more than that.
Well, I went to the website for NadaMoo because, Robbie is sponsored by NadaMoo, and there were 12 flavors, and just looking at it, and I'm eating whole food, so I can't eat that stuff. But oh my God, my mouth started to water just looking at the names of the variety.
Right?
Oh my gosh! So
it's so creamy.
So
too.
Tell me. Oh, I haven't had it.
Yeah. Oh, it's insane.
It's a really great product.
Oh,
that's
so
for
what's
sure.
your favorite? What's your favorite flavor?
Man, people are going to find this boring, but I really do love the vanilla.
Oh,
for heaven's sakes.
But I'll say, too, the maple pecan, it reminds me of butter pecan. When I was a kid, it was like the one that was always in my grandparents' freezer, the ice cream. And that one takes me back, and I really do like that one a lot. They've come up with a couple new flavors in the last month that all look really interesting. But what I love about NadaMoo, and I think it's something that is really going to help this transition to a plant-based food is definitely that we've got to take these things that that people love. They're iconic. There's nothing more iconic than ice cream, and getting to see a product come that is as good, if not better, than it's like a milk-based alternative. Those things, if these things happen more and more, it just that's the proof in the pudding. That's where we're going to see a big switch. So I just encourage, other brands and other people to start thinking about that and coming up with great products such as NadaMoo, so that there's just no more excuses. I think we're really close to that. There's so many good products out there.
Yeah, there are, but you are a lot like my mother, who when we were kids and we would go to Baskin Robbins, she would choose vanilla, and we would, as kids, would look at them. There's 31 flavors, and she would choose. We would be appalled, and she would just say, "Well, I like it." And,
So you like what you like.
Yeah, you like what you like. But yeah, so one of the interesting things that I think you can be really inspirational, certainly as an athlete, to debunk the myth. And I love what you said when you first came on about the fact that you just felt so much better right away when you started eliminating animal foods from your diet. Your run will certainly be a huge inspiration for a lot of people, and it'll be myth busting in terms of how plant-based makes you strong, not weak. So thank you so much for tuning in today. If we helped you in any way, then click the subscribe button and let's keep hanging out together. We have so much more to share with you.
And if you need more information on actually making the switch for good, please visit us at switchforgood.org for loads of info. And you can subscribe to our mailing list, where you will receive all sorts of super cool gifts, discount codes to our very fave dairy-free products, and a lifetime of powerful health tips.
So join us on the journey to switch for good. This is the future.